All right, in my world of weather, it's all about the big change in our temperatures. Look at, these are the last 24 hours. This is how many degrees we've shaved off temperatures around the region. Sandusky and Fremont are 34 degrees colder right now than they were just 24 hours ago. How about Cleveland and Akron and Ravenna? Canton, too, 33 degrees colder. Same for Mansfield and Elyria. How about Youngstown, the winner here, 35 degrees colder right now than they were just 24 hours ago. And remember, at 7:38 p.m. last night, we hit the record in Cleveland of 61. So at 7:30 tonight, I bet this gets even colder. We'll be right back.
The acting attorney general facing questions today about the investigation into possible Russian meddling during the 2016 election. Matt Whitaker saying he has not spoken to President Trump about the probe, but his testimony turned fiery when the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee pressed Whitaker on if he had even been asked to approve any moves from the special counsel's team.
Mr. Chairman, I see that your 5 minutes is up, and so I'm here voluntarily. We have agreed to 5-minute rounds.
Whitaker later answered that question, reiterating that he has never interfered with the special counsel's probe.
Well, new tonight, studies show that more teens than ever are vaping, but it can be hard for parents to tell if their own kids are doing it. So some parents are trying to find out themselves by getting their kids tested for nicotine exposure. One lab charges $70 and up to test kids' blood, urine, even their hair. The lab says they're seeing kids as young as 12 who've tried vaping for the very first time. Well, he's a renowned pastor who's been a pivotal figure in the civil rights movement.
Yes, he has, and he's been in Cleveland for more than half a century. We're talking about Reverend E. Theophilus Cavness, who has led one of Cleveland's most prominent churches since 1961, and through it all, his faith has stood the test of time.
I thank him for the storms he brought me through.
The soundtrack of blessings played on repeat as faith was tested. But state-sanctioned beatings and exclusion didn't paralyze the civil rights movement.
He wasn't the kind of guy that was standoffish. He was very gracious and gratuitous. He was affable.
Martin Luther King Jr. among his friends. Reverend E. Theophilus Cavness led me through the years.
Never would have thought that in my history it would have evolved such as it is.
The East Texan arrived in Cleveland in 1961, ready to fight.
When folks got hell in them, we don't beat the hell out of them, we love the hell out of them.
It had a good melody, but as a group was sometimes hard to follow.
Malcolm X had come and talked about bullets. And he was saying, if you don't deal with Martin, you're going to have to deal with me.
On Sundays, the Greater Abyssina Baptist Church was his sanctuary, but his ministry stretched into politics.
When Carl Stow was elected, he had a vision for this city.
It involved empowering African Americans because he watched so many die.
How do you kill a man who is about love? How do you destroy a personality that's wanting to help people?
I like to start here.
Today, he's immortalized among American heroes.
I think it's important to honor somebody who's still active in the community.
Cleveland's Western Reserve Historical Society displays an exhibit in Reverend Cavness's honor.
He, above all, is a proponent of peace and kindness.
The model highlights big moments and his flair.
The red buttons of the vest, and an amazing shoe collection, too.
Another civil rights foot soldier who continues to fight on the front lines of humanity in a war against whatever is wrong.
Oh, gotta love Reverend Cavness, right?
Yes, we do. He fights for everyone for civil rights, and he does have a flair for fashion.
He's got that flair, doesn't he? You like those gators on there, Mark? You see the gators?
Oh, my gosh.
Every time I see Reverend Cavness, I says, you are cleaner than the Board of Health.
Cleaner than the Board of Health.
You are cleaner than the Board of Health.
I love the red tie and the red.
He's sharp.
Oh, my gosh.
Always
That's
sharp.
Awesome.
Always
Bravo.
sharp.
Nice job, Frank.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
All right, I want to show you where it's snowing. It's snowing a little bit in Cleveland. It's snowing a lot. Guess where this is? Guess where this is? This is Seattle, Washington.
I was going to say that better not be here, Mark.
They're used to less than an inch of snow during the month of February. Well, tonight they're going to get 6 to 10 inches of snow. The city is in a panic. There's no milk and bread left, and they're pretty much being told to hunker down for the weekend. And they may get another storm, a winter storm, next week that will drop more heavy snow on that city. All right. Here is a live picture from Worcester High School. Looking west, the skies are clearing out a bit. I would expect that clearing trend to continue through the evening and the overnight. What I'm watching for this evening and tonight, if you're going out and about, the Arctic air has returned. It is here. Temps are going to fall into the teens, but then we still have blustery conditions. So wind chills, single digits to near 0 at times through at least midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. So make sure you bundle up with those winter coats. I don't have to tell you that, right? That's right. Here we go. Here's the snow and the clouds. Now, the snow is beginning to shift north. Now, we have a single band that's kind of pointing into Ashtabula, Geneva on the lake, and Conneaut. You could pick up a quick inch of snow there. It's right along the shoreline. Here's that Arctic air that's reinvaded. Remember yesterday we had this? Well, that warm air has been pushed south and east. It'll soon be off the coast and out over the Atlantic where it'll warm up the fish. 17 Detroit, 13 Grand Rapids. This cold air here, maybe even some of this, is going to drop in overnight tonight. I think we could easily see some single-digit lows. Current wind chills below 0 to our north and west. I think we stay a little bit warmer than that, but not by much. Your evening, you're in the teens. Again, with the winds out of the west, 15, 17 miles per hour, you've got wind chills single digits to near 0. Some clearing tonight, gets even colder than we are right now. 10, 10, 13 for Akron, 11 for Canton and Worcester. But I think these lows could even be colder in a lot of spots just outside the big city lights. So I'm thinking some inland areas, even close to the lakeshore with some ice on the lake. You could see 7, 8, 9, 10 degrees on your car thermometers. You get up and go early, 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then we warm you up a little bit, 9 a.m. Wow, a sultry 15. You're at 19. Get out and party at noon. And then 5 p.m., our high 22 degrees. 8 tonight for Akron, 24 tomorrow for the high. That's not warm at all. Sunday, we warm you up a little bit, but we're going to add some snow to the mix during the afternoon and evening. I think a trace to maybe 2 inches of snow by the time it's all done Monday morning early. A little bit of light snow Monday morning, 34, and then 45 with rain coming our way Tuesday. Frank?
All right, thanks. We've all had that coworker, maybe a boss, that we don't really get along with.
Not our issue at all. So glad to say that. But sometimes it's more than a difference in opinion.
Personality dynamics, power plays, insecurities that get played out and work, and people can get injured.
And that trauma can stay with you even after you leave the job. Tonight at 6, the movement to put a stop to bullying in the workplace.
And speaking of work, changing the workplace one millennial at a time. How businesses are going out of their way to hire and keep the next generation of workers.
But first, when News 5 at 5 returns, if their cuteness doesn't keep you glued to the TV, maybe their story will. The Ohio family fighting to keep their emotional support alpacas.
All right, stow them away somewhere else or just send them packing. This right here. It's a story for a Stow family who have alpacas as therapy pets. But neighbors claim they're a nuisance, and now the city is involved. News 5's Taylor DeHaze introduces us to Scooby and Loretta.
Walking up to the door, it's not who you'd expect to greet you, or what. Meet Loretta and her vanilla-colored son, Scooby. Scott Westberg says his non-traditional pets give his fiancée Sigga and her 12-year-old son, Max, the emotional support they need to get through the day.
They warm your heart, they make you feel better.
Sigga was diagnosed with depression, and instead of pills, she pets.
She's feeling down a little bit. She goes out there, she pets them, she feeds them, and she comes back in a different person.
Loretta and Scooby don't make much noise, other than some humming. But last summer, a neighbor said otherwise, writing to the city multiple times for a smelly backyard and noise complaints. We went to the neighbor's home to see if they would comment, but they weren't there. Aside from the alleged smell and noise,
they've claimed a few things, the nuisance, the agricultural use, At one point, they tried to say that they were an exotic animal, even though we do have evidence that they're registered as a pet.
Westberg says he was busy with work and failed to clean up after the duo, but it hasn't happened since.
It was a mistake I made once over the summer that has not been made since and will never be made again.
He says he's cooperated with the city and says he'll do anything to keep Scooby and Loretta home.
This is a letter from Max's school psychologist,
proving the therapy method is working.
His confidence is completely different since we've gotten the alpacas.
Anything to keep his fiancée and Max off medication. According to the city, keeping their pets could cost this family $150 if they don't send their alpacas packing by next weekend.
We may find a temporary place for them and visit them every day and continue to work towards a solution. And I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do.
In Stow, Taylor DeHaze, News 5.